In the headlines, appeal court affirms Alia's election as Benue governor. Bandits kill policeman, kidnap district head's wife, 14 others in Zamfara. Osun Judiciary Staff Union protests removal of Chief Judge, shut High Court gate. On the foreign scene, 29 Gaza babies evacuated to Egypt as Hamas reports deadly hospital strike. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Abdurrahman Omar. Thanks for joining. Now, the Court of Appeal in Abuja has dismissed an appeal brought before it by the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Titus Uba, challenging the election of Aisint Alia as governor of Benue State. In a unanimous judgment, the court resolved all three issues formulated for determination against Uba and PDP for various reasons. Justice Onyekachi Otisi, who delivered the lead judgment, dismissed the allegations of non-qualification made by Uba against the deputy governor, Samuel Odi. He held that the PDP candidate failed to establish forgery of INEC from EC9 by Odi beyond reasonable doubt. The appellate court, among other reasons, said the issues of non-qualification are pre-election matters that can only be challenged at a federal high court and not at the governorship election petition tribunal as done by Uba. The court also dealt with the allegations by Uba that the name of the governor, Aisint Alia, was not submitted by the All Progressives Congress to the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC within 180 days before the election of March 18th. On another development, police authorities in Kano State have vowed to clamp down on any group protesting in the state following a Court of Appeal judgment sacking Governor Abba Yusuf. The Independent National Electoral Commission INEC declared Yusuf of the New Nigeria People's Party (NNPP) as the winner of the March poll, but the state governorship election petitions tribunal sacked him. Days after the judgment, police authorities in the state says they have gotten reports of groups planning a protest, but maintained that they will not allow such in a bid to forestall the breakdown of law and order, citing the peace accord signed by the NNPP and the APC ahead of the court judgment. The Kano police chief said the parties should, aligned with the deal, prevent their supporters from any mass action, suggesting preparation for violent protests or celebrations. In the meantime, a mobile policeman attached to the Maru Police Division was killed by terrorists who attacked Ruwan-Dorowa, a community in Maru local government area of Zamfara State on Sunday. Residents said 13 people comprising 6 women, 5 men and 2 children were abducted by the terrorists during the attack that lasted more than 2 hours. A community leader who craved anonymity said the terrorists came to abduct residents of the community so they could collect ransom before releasing them. Another resident, Faisal Ibrahim, said his sister Zainab, who is married to the district head of the area, was one of those abducted. The Zamfara State Police was yet to confirm the incident at the time of filing this report. Now, as part of its continued efforts towards addressing problems of insecurity bedeviling Katsina State, the state government launched its Community Watch Corps with the sole aim of augmenting the efforts of the conventional security agencies operating in the state, fighting banditry and other forms of criminalities. Tijani Ibrahim reported that close to 1,500 young men and women drawn from across the state were recruited to work particularly in the frontline local government areas in order to take part in security operations, having known their terrain better than the security agents in most cases. Report.
Governor Radda inaugurated a Security Intervention Trust Fund Committee under the Secretary to the Government of the State, Alhaji Abdullahi Garba Faskari, with a 3-week mandate to submit its report on how to mobilize and suggest how to expend funds on security, among other terms of reference. The governor said security is a top priority of his administration, as 22 out of the 34 local government areas in the state are severely affected by the problems of insecurity. Hence, the training and equipping of the Community Watch Corps serves as an emblem of his commitment to security, peace, and community-centered advancement.
You have been saddled with the responsibility of facing a deadly enemy who has no respect for life and peaceful existence. Those bandits have brought pain upon our mothers, daughters, sons, and fathers. It is our religious obligation to protect them.
Chairman of the Katsina Community Watch Corps, Major General Junaid Sani Bindawa, retired, expressed confidence that the insecurity bedeviling the state and the northwest region could be mitigated through that kind of arrangement as done in other climes. He said the young men and women were trained in weapons handling, counter-terrorism, first aid, civil-military relations, and other security-related activities in order for them to assist the security agents in mitigating the security challenges in their various local government areas. In an earlier interview with the Katsina State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Dr. Nasir Muazu, the Commissioner said the Corps had the requisite legal backing as a bill seeking to establish it was transmitted by the State Governor to the State Assembly, which debated and unanimously passed it into law, which was subsequently assented to by the Governor. Dr. Muazu said the Corps members have gone through 2 months of intensive and rigorous training by experts in order to bring them up to the task ahead of them. Talking about the kind of weapons the new security outfit will be handling, Dr. Muazu said it is going to be operating within the purview of the law, leveraging only on what the law has provided for in addressing issues of insecurity. In terms of the remuneration and other welfare packages, the Commissioner said the government has provided for allowances all across the structure.
Because of the importance and significance of the Corps, taking into cognizance of the insecurity in the state, and we are left with no option than to have this kind of establishment. So they fast track the process, and we're able to get the legal backing to establish the Community Watch Corps.
From inception to date, the Corps had recorded some successes, losses, as well as got involved in some controversial operations. In terms of success, for instance, the Corps was said to have killed a number of bandits, including a kingpin who was identified as Sheikh Usman in Damusa local government, as well as about 13 other bandits among those who attacked Zakka community in Safana local government area recently. However, the attack in Zakka, one of the operatives of the Corps was said to have paid the supreme price alongside one other police officer. Equally, the Corps was enmeshed in controversy when a family of one Alhaji Hamza Zakka accused some operatives of the Corps of killing him extrajudicially over alleged involvement in sharing information with the bandits. Johnny Ibrahim, Trust TV, Katsina.
Now, the instability in Osun State judiciary has taken a dramatic turn as controversy trails the removal of the Chief Judge of Osun State, Adepele Ojo, by the State House of Assembly. The Chief Judge was accused of gross misconduct and corruption and was asked to vacate the office to allow proper investigation on the allegations. Hamid Oyebade now reports.
The battle over the office of the Chief Judge in Osun State continues as judiciary workers in the state picket the State High Court in protest against the Chief Judge, Justice Adepele Ojo.
The purpose of coming out today is to picketing the office of the Honorable CJ as regards some unresolved issues between the union and the Honorable CJ. We have been on this issue for quite some time. Like the first one that I want to mention is about the unlawful suspension of some of our members. Some of our members have been suspended for more than 3 years. They have not been paid.
While the legislators in Osun State rely on the provision of the Section 292 of the Constitution on their power to remove the CJ, lawyers said such power cannot be exercised without involving the National Judicial Council, given a precedent decision of the Supreme Court.
First instance, the Supreme Court's position made some position over the matter that maybe it should go through the Nigerian Judicial Council. What the Osun State government are saying is that the House of Assembly has power to, under the Constitution as well. And then it becomes an issue for the Supreme Court. But what I will say is that all things that should be done well should be done well.
As far as the issue of suspension or removal of the chief judge of the state is concerned, the law is crystal clear on it. And when we say law is crystal clear on it, we're talking about the clear provision of the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria and the existing Supreme Court case, which was decided in the case of Elelu, a similar removal of the chief judge of Kwara State. So the provision of the Constitution is clear.
Stakeholders in the state want due process to be followed in the probe and sack of the CJ to avoid bad precedent. Amid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
Now, the role of journalists in shaping and improving society through quality journalism remains sacrosanct to the growth and development of Nigeria. A media parley in Kano has highlighted the ever-changing media landscape in Nigeria and the need for a formidable network of journalists to cover underreported human rights stories in the country. Trust TV participated at the event. No report.
The deterioration of human rights in Nigeria is manifesting through reported cases of police brutality, rising gender-based violence, and tough economic situation created by mismanagement of resources, which deprive millions of Nigerians rights to food, education, and health care. Based on these concerns, Amnesty International brought together these newsmen in Kano to, among other things, strengthen partnerships for the advancement of human rights and justice in Nigeria.
As you all know, the civil space has been seriously hampered as a result of overzealous either politicians or some security agents who believe that you do not have the right to be in the spaces or to peacefully assemble.
I hope that journalists will continue to use their influence to bring out this thing, because journalism is about encouraging freedom, encouraging justice. Therefore, I hope we will continue to work together. Amnesty International will continue to work in conjunction with journalists.
Although professionally required to ensure adequate promotion and protection of human rights, journalists are also victims of human rights abuse, a factor threatening human rights reporting in Nigeria.
Rights don't just fall from the sky. Nobody ever just come and give you rights. You struggle for those rights. And so, media, as the abstraction of our rights to freedom of expression, is the key with which we can demand other rights.
We feel that aspect will help in advancing the frontiers of freedom of expression, freedom of information, and other multifaceted freedom that a lot of people are not even aware of. When you see impunity taking place, when you see abuse of power taking place, when you see abuse of office taking place, when you see rape taking place, when you see all societal vices taking place, it's because the people are not informed.
But with this renewed commitment by Amnesty International, it is expected that journalists will rise up to the challenges of reporting issues on human rights while highlighting alleged cases of military brutality across the country. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
You are watching News Update on Trust TV. Coming up ahead. Bauchi communities campaign against open defecation. Details of that and more after the break. Please stay with us.
It wasn't easy for you, even though you come from this distinguished political family. You made many attempts. Were you discouraged by the initial setbacks?
Coming from such a family, I've learned a lot. I grew under the late president, So I've seen so many of, such things. You could go in and then you may not win. So I had all that at the back of my mind.
How were you taking it as that knife edge kind of counting was going on, because it could have gone either way?
When you are aware that the Naira was changed and very little time was given, so money was out of circulation.
Does it mean you didn't have money to mobilize?
No, it's not the money. What I mean was people who are suffering to change their money at that time. So that, maybe some of them had to change their mind not to even vote for my party. Personally, I went to over 100 wards out of about 116. I couldn't enter some of the wards to campaign.
But what you say you presented was a motion, and Nigerians could say, well, so much motion, very little movement.
Because of the motion that I raised, one of the recommendations was that we are going to invite all the head of security agencies in Nigeria. Primarily at the back of my mind was my resolve to serve humanity, just to follow the footsteps of my late father and my late brothers.
That's right, you too could be one of the 20 Zenith Bank customers that will win 150,000 Naira every 2 weeks from June 1st, 2023 until May 31st, 2024 in the Zenith Better Life Promo 3. To qualify, simply open a Zenith Bank account. For more information, visit www.zenithbank.com/betterlife. Live the better life with Zenith Bank.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is the news update on Trust TV, and here is a recap of some of our top stories. Appeal Court affirms earliest election as Benue governor. And bandits kill policeman, kidnapped district hate's wife, 14 others in Zamfara. Now, to other stories. Residents of Osun State have lamented that the newly constructed road between Sekona and Eduna-born towns by the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency has been destroyed by rain few months after. The residents called on federal government and appreciate authorities to approve the project to ensure standard work. Hamid Oyebade files in report.
The road between Sekona and Ife was in a very deplorable condition for a very long time. The Federal Road Maintenance Agency, at the tail end of the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari, embarked on reconstruction of the road. A section of the road was done before Buhari left in May. The contractor abandoned the rest after the transition. Meanwhile, some sections of the part recently reconstructed are already collapsing. Government should be using competent contractors. The one that got this contract did poor job. It's like posting a trader to a school to teach.
The project will go a long way to make the road attractive to investors and visitors. The road is not up to 5 months, and now it is no more roadworthy. I'm calling on the government and other stakeholders to do the needful.
Of this road is less than 6 months, and therefore what we observed was that an high density road must never be given to an inexperienced contractor. This is the second portion of the road that has gone moribund within 3 months of handing over this road. It's sad that our people that have been experiencing good road on this axis before are now back to square one.
The residents want federal government to probe the project and ensure standard construction work on the road. Amid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
Now, some communities in Bauchi State have engaged a group of volunteers that is supported by United Nations Children's Fund to police the environment against open defecation as a way of reducing the spread of cholera and other diseases. The group, which is collaborating with the water, sanitation and hygiene community in the area, says the effort is in commemoration of the 2023 World Toilet Day in the area. Adamu Imam files in this report.
According to experts in the water, sanitation and hygiene wash sector, open defecation remains a serious challenge to many in Nigeria, with the United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF saying more than 48 million people still practice open defecation despite efforts to reduce the practice. According to UNICEF, 105 out of the 774 local council areas in the country were open defecation free, with 8 situated in Bauchi State. Katagum local government area of the state has become the latest to be certified open defecation free by the National Task Group on Sanitation (NTGS) after about 4 years of efforts to attain this status. We always intimate members of our community on the need to avoid open defecation. That is why we have less issues as far as disease are concerned. We also adhere to expert advice from representatives of UNICEF and members of the WASH community here. We thank them immensely. The idea of people using unhygienic ways of passing out excreta inside gutters and polluting the environment have become history in our communities. I think to sustain the tempo, government should get at least 3 vigilantes, especially youths, in each area for effective supervision. We always emphasize on community stakeholders' engagement as a way of sustaining house-to-house awareness, as well as in other places like markets and around public toilets. We also clear refuse around dump sites to ensure a clean and healthy environment. To achieve this status, communities in the council area said they collaborated to provide water facilities and improve toilets which were constructed with consideration for people with special needs. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
In business, members of the Petroleum Tanker Drivers PTD have dismissed reports that it will embark on a nationwide protest to demand the resignation of NOPENC President and its General Secretary, Williams Aporeha and Afolabi Olawale, respectively. The tanker drivers were reacting to a publication by Daily Trust, which stated that their union's ex-officio, Benga Olawale, from Ibadan Depot, said the PTD has directed its members across the country to move with leaves in front of their trucks to serve as a warning to NOPENC. In a statement by the PTD National Chairman Augustine Ebon, the tanker drivers described Olawale's directive as unfounded, saying it is dangerous because it can cause panic in the supply chain of petroleum products distribution nationwide. And on judiciary matters, the Supreme Court has fixed March 13, 2024 to hear a suit filed in 2008 by the Attorney General of Lagos State against the federal government irrespective of who controls and regulates the gaming and lottery sector. Ekiti State was joined as co-plaintiff in the suit following an order of the court made on October 6, 2020. The Attorneys General of 34 other states were joined as defendants by the Supreme Court on November 15, 2022. A 7-member panel led by Justice Kudred Kekere Ekun fixed the date for the day's proceedings. The plaintiffs want the Apex Court to declare that the lottery is not one of the 68 items for which the National Assembly has the exclusive jurisdiction to make laws under Part 1 of the Second Schedule of the 1999 Constitution as amended. They are also seeking a declaration that the National Assembly lacks the power to legally and constitutionally make any law to regulate and control the operation of lottery in Nigeria. And on the international scene, 29 premature babies were evacuated from war-torn Gaza to Egypt on Monday as the Hamas-run health ministry accused Israel of launching a deadly strike on the territory's Indonesian hospital. Frantic diplomatic efforts were meanwhile underway to seal a deal for the release of some of the 240 hostages that Hamas militants took during their October 7th attacks on Israel. The Gaza health ministry alleged that Israel's army killed at least 12 people in a strike on the Indonesian hospital and the Palestinian territories note. A war zone where entire city blocks have been reduced to rubble. Those killed included patients, said Ashraf Al-Qudra, a spokesman of the ministry, which has reported a death toll of more than 13,000 as the Gaza war rages on into its 7th week. Dozens more were wounded and around 700 people remained trapped inside the besieged medical center, Qudra said. Israel did not immediately comment but pushed on with its withering air and ground campaign aimed at destroying Hamas in response to the October 7 attacks. It says killed 1,200 people. And now in sports news, the Nigeria Football Federation NFF will fire coach Jose Peseiro if they had the money to pay him off after 2 poor performances in World Cup qualifiers, according to Executive Committee member Nse Essien. Nigeria's qualification for the 2026 World Cup is already in serious jeopardy after they managed only 2 draws in their first 2 qualifiers against Lesotho and Zimbabwe. Walter Musuna scored direct from a free kick to put Zimbabwe ahead in the first half, and Leicester forward Kelechi Iheanacho equalized midway through the second half. Portuguese coach Peseiro has been singled out for criticism for the Super Eagles' slow start to qualification. Still on sports news, the Minister of Sports Development, John Eno, has stressed that the country cannot afford to miss out on the 2026 FIFA World Cup after the poor performance of the Super Eagles in their opening 2 games of the qualifying series. The Super Eagles began their campaign on a flat-footed note as they picked up just 2 of the available 6 points against Lesotho and Zimbabwe. Jose Peseiro's men were held to a 1-1 draw at home by Lesotho at the Goswill Apabio Stadium in Uyo last Thursday, before they also came from behind to pick up another tepid draw against Zimbabwe in Rwanda on Sunday. And with that, we have come to the end of the Trust TV's news update. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and our YouTube live stream for more news programs and documentary. I am Abdurrahman Omar. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.